Monday. We're chipper.
Are we
I
chipper?
don't know. Yeah, you know.
The only thing chipper is that guy in my lawn cleaning up the leaves, chipping away, as we say.
You know what is
Why
chipper,
does it
though?
have to be so loud? Oh, I'm sorry. I interrupted your perfect segue.
Smart Deploy allows IT departments to re-image unlimited computer models from one golden image. Search their library for your models and grab your exclusive free licenses at smartdeploy.com/therot. Yes, they're chipper. Chipper folks up in the Seattle area.
Yeah.
It's
I was in the shower less than 7 minutes ago.
I never would have guessed. You look refreshed and pampered. It's
Yeah, I didn't get to do my usual baby powder routine, but you can make sacrifices.
not what I would have guessed, but here we are.
So I saw one photo from the weekend from your building extra. So what happened? What was the?
So there's a meme on the internet. It's on Reddit. It's called Rest of the Owl, where it's a picture of it's a 2-panel like cartoon looking thing.
Yep.
And the first pixel is a circle, and then the next panel is the owl done. And there's no steps in between. It's just called Rest of the Owl. Like you see step 1 in the finished product, and it's like, that's it.
Yeah, The Simpsons did a good job with this as well. Like the guy who's building a grill.
Yeah.
Why doesn't my grill look anything like that?
Yeah. So like the bathroom fan that I was putting in said 2-hour installation. I'm like, you're lying. I told that to the box.
I can beat that.
Yeah.
3.5 hours later.
It took almost 10 hours to get this thing in.
Right.
Because it says first drill a 4-inch hole to your exterior. Well, because you gotta
Step 2.
You gotta get the vent out. You gotta blow that moist air out of the
what's
house.
the exterior? What's the wall made out of?
Concrete.
Like,
yeah,
this. You could do it like Shawshank Redemption. Here's a spoon. Let me know how that's going in about 17 years.
So me being me, I went to the hardware store, and you would think that they sell these saws. It's called a 4-inch hole saw, and
okay, so it literally bores a hole. So it actually probably goes on a drill, right? You kind of
yeah, Paul. It even says concrete on it. It says you just attach this thing to your drill. So I put it on my drill. Nothing.
Now, what kind of do you have a portable battery powered drill?
Well, I've got all sorts of drills. I've got a battery powered one, but that's not the right tool for it. So I had a corded.
That's why I asked. I mean, you need something like a high powered drill for this to even.
Yeah, so I've got a corded drill with high torque and all that stuff, but it's not a hammer drill. So I started using it. It's like, this isn't doing anything. Like it's not even hurting the feelings of the concrete. So
you're so much more prepared than I am. All right.
So I call my dad. He has a proper hammer drill. This thing, it's a little older, but this thing is a brute. Like this is a man's drill, as my wife would describe it. This is not a Mickey Mouse toy. This is a hammer drill. It'll rattle your fillings from your skull type scenario.
Yep.
Started using it, just nothing. Like it's doing nothing. This hole saw was useless. So what I have are masonry bits that are like 18 inches long. And so what I did was I just drilled through and then basically just kept like peppering it and almost like a machine gun style, just chipping away. And I got the whole.
I mean, concrete's tough because
it holds up a house.
Right. Is it load bearing concrete? Yeah, you don't want to make the hole too big or like an off-size shape or whatever.
No, and so like what I did was it called for a 4-inch hole. I didn't do a 4-inch hole. It's probably like 3.5, because I have a brick exterior home, and to actually put a 4-inch hole through brick. One is very tough. Not to mention bricks are kind of bricks, right? You can't just it destroys a whole section. So
yeah.
And this is a shower and bathroom fan combination that's going to be used sparingly. Like, let me put it this way: we've had this house for 10 years. Mm-hmm. We have used the downstairs shower. Now, granted, it wasn't the nicest shower at the time. Twice.
Yeah.
In
I mean, why not
years.
just buy a dehumidifier?
Well,
too simple.
Yeah, it wanted to do it.
Not destructive enough.
Yeah, not destructive enough. I figured I had too much time on my hands and I wanted to do this the wrong way. But anyway, so the hole is in, it's all connected. Then there was an electrical nightmare because for people who came for the tech, it'll eventually happen eventually. For those who aren't aware, so in the fixture, there was it was used as a light and a junction box, which means that power comes in, goes to the light, and then power also goes out to the rest of the house. And so I had to basically back out the junction, put in a new junction box that's split that went into the fan and light combination. But it gets worse than that because you need what's called 3-pole wire. And if you're not familiar with 3-pole wire, Paul, I'm going to educate our listeners here. So if you go to the hardware store and you get a wire, it usually has 2 poles. It has like a black, a white, and a ground. A 3-pole has a black, white, and red, and a ground. And it allows you to do a dual switch that has a fan and a light. And it's not that big of a deal. It's not like some specialty thing or whatever. It's just a pain in the butt to work with because it's really thick stuff. It's just, it's a pain in the butt. And you have to do a 3-pole wire from the fan to the switch and then the fan to the box. And it took...
That's the reason we have a remote control for our fan light thing in the sunroom, because the guy was like, I am not rewiring this.
Yeah. No, I get it. Like it's
just a nightmare.
Yeah. So anyway, so the bathroom fan is all installed now. The only thing I have to do now, which I just went out and checked, is so I got the hole through. And then what I did was I took the bricks that were remaining and basically chopped them in half and put them back in around it. And then I took grate foam, which is, the stuff you spray in there, and just filled in all the cavities. And so now I need to go out there and like smooth off the foam. And then there's a little like door thing that goes on top so creatures don't get all the way in.
Yep. You've already described an incredible amount of things I would have said no to years ago.
And then I also did some framing. I did, not anywhere close to being done with framing, but I've got maybe 2.5 walls done. Maybe, well, I guess 1.5, I guess technically. I don't know. Home Depot is supposed to be coming today. I'm assuming that they just show up because they didn't like call or text or anything. They're supposed to come between 4 and 6 p.m.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's good. So you're not going to hear the beep, beep, beep sound when we're doing the podcast. Truck backing into your driveway.
Yeah. The one thing I wanted to get done this weekend, which we didn't, but it's okay because I got other stuff done, was actually mount the shower pan in that bathroom. But it's probably a good thing I didn't get it done with all that drilling and whatnot. And so, I don't know.
Yeah, because it's the same room, so you don't want to get shit everywhere.
Right. It's the same reason why we have the new toilet. My wife's like, "Why don't you put it in?" Like, do you realize how much I stood on that toilet to go like
because you got to do that one last. Yeah. that's the finish work.
No, it really, really is. I mean, that'll go down, and then the wood flooring, which we're not putting wood floor, but we're gonna do, as my wife likes to call it, vinyl is final. It's the I know. The tech stuff is coming, folks. I promise. But it's what you see in everything.
Well,
now.
By the way, so this actually relates directly to some tech stuff because I ordered some Nest security cameras. There's going to be drilling of walls. We're talking about doing Ethernet work. There will be drilling of walls. I mean,
there will be blood.
There will be. Yes, there absolutely will be blood. It will be my blood. Yeah.
But anyways, it's just the plank stuff that clicks and snaps together that has. We're probably going overkill on the floor down here, but I'm like really paranoid. I know we paid a bunch of money to get this place waterproofed, and knock on wood, we have not had any water down here, and we've had several major storms. But it's an inevitable that water or something will seep in. And so what we're doing is we're putting dry core panels on the ground, which I think I've talked about this. They have little plastic feet, and then it's plywood on top, and creates an air gap between the concrete and that'll be effectively the subfloor, which will help keep it warm. And I mean, if you've walked on concrete, you know how hard it is. It makes it a little plush. Anyways, on the back of the vinyl is final is rubber as well, and then it looks like wood on top.
Yeah. So the effect is something that feels pretty good on the feet, and hopefully will dissipate water if it ever gets in there.
Right there. When we knock on wood again, when we had water come in the basement,
knock on fake wood, Brad.
Yeah, well, no, this desk is real authentic woodwind.
That's true.
This is real wood.
Although it's covered in the same material that the petrified forest uses to to ensure that you never are able to chip any of that away.
Yeah, I was talking to my wife about this because I've heard the sump pump run that we had installed, but only when I dump water in it. Like, now there is water in the bottom of it, but our furnace now ejects into it, so I don't know if it's like drainage water. But anyways, when we got water in the basement, it would be, I would put like in the gallons rather than like barrels of oil, like metric. Bless you.
Excuse me.
And so I'm wondering if we just don't really get enough water in to actually like activate the sump very frequently. And that it doesn't help that I can't hear it either. It's quiet, which is nice, but I just like to know that it's working.
Sure.
So anyways.
Well, maybe we'll get 40 days of rain and,
Yeah. But the long story short there is that if we got water in with those dry core panels, as long as it was like it has been for the past 10 years, we would never even know anyways, because our basement gradually slopes towards the drain like it should. Like we have a center drain in the house.
Yep.
And that's where the water flowed anyways when it came in. It just got so.
Sure.
With all that, I'm cautiously optimistic that we won't have any major issues, at least for a while. And if we do, then we'll just move and just burn it all down.
I had an allergic reaction to the drywall dust that I'm imagining.
Oh man, that's the nightmare I'm worried about. Like the framing of all this stuff is fine, but like I'm not a framer. The walls are straight and plumb. Like I know how to measure and make sure that they're square.
I think you're gonna do fine with that stuff.
Well,
you're gonna have to. I know you kind of even it out and covering the nail heads and everything. I think that's gonna be good. I think you're gonna do good with that.
Yeah, well, it's all dependent on did I do a good job framing, right? They all build on top of each other. So if I did an okay job framing, then I have to do a really good job at drywalling, which
it's all right angles, dude. You got this.
Yeah. It's the mudding. It's
It's the mudding. Yes. Which is better than the muddling.
Yeah. Which brings me to a point where tech sort of ties in. So my wife just kind of goes, "Hey, my iPhone's dying."
Wait, what?
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's a 7. And more specifically, it's the battery. It's doing the thing. I'm sure Android phones do this, but iPhones definitely do it in their old age, where it'll say it has 80% battery, and then you turn it on, and all of a sudden it's 30%, and then it'll be 50%, and then it's like 2%. And so she looked at me and she's like, you can either have the upgrade or we'll just go buy whatever. And I was like, well, and she's like, I don't care. She said they're all good.
She's the perfect woman.
Yeah, and I was like, here's what we're gonna do, because we got her.
I do care.
Yeah. Well, I'm not buying an 11 Pro, and it's
really
no. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna wait and see what Verizon has on sale at Christmas time, and then she's either gonna get an XR or 11, depending on.
Oh, wow, look at you! So you have a 10S, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's not that far off.
No, I mean, I know the camera's better in the 11 Pro. I know that for a fact, but
yeah,
I don't. So I'm basically going to go pay $1,000 because, again, we just buy the phone outright
with a third lens.
Yeah, for a third lens, like
which you'll use sparingly,
right? Which is a fringe case use. It's like, oh, now I can take landscape shots. Like
I got to say, my wife has a Galaxy S8 Plus, so this thing has got to be not quite 3 years old, but almost 3 or 2.5, 3 years old, and she takes fantastic pictures with it, And your camera obviously is capable of taking fantastic photos. I mean, at some point, it's like just diminishing returns.
It is, right? I'm going to pay a whole bunch of money for a marginal upgrade.
Yeah. Every once in a while, they take like a night shot and be like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but other times, most of the photos are just of my kid and relatively good lighting, and it's fine.
Yeah, like, and they look great. Yeah, you take good photos.
I can't even tell you the last time I printed a photo.
Printing a photo. Yeah. That's so quaint.
Mm-hmm. So
here he comes. Pretty sure this guy's using a jackhammer to pull the leaves in my yard.
I can hear it a little bit, just a little.
Oh, I can hear it a lot. He's like, "What corner of the house do you work in?" Yeah, I'm gonna exclusively work over there.
He probably is in control of my furnace, which is very good at knowing when I walk right by it to turn on. So. Anyways, if you have T-Mobile or a bunch of other stuff or a OnePlus device, there's been a bunch of data breaches and all your data is now.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Yeah.
Well, the OnePlus one didn't seem super serious in that, credit card numbers weren't stolen this time, at least that we know of. But yeah, it is the season.
Yep, 'tis the season for breaches. What I'm trying to decide is, I don't know if you have any plans for Black Friday, but I am now very much in the market for a TV that's going to be down here in this basement. And
so Black Friday has already started, right? In some cases.
Yeah, it's Black Month. I mean,
I mentioned this in passing, but I bought a pair of Google Nest outdoor cams, not the new IQ version, but the 1080p version. They're normally $200 a piece. The 2-pack is normally $300. No, sorry. Wait. Yes.
Yeah, it's like $298 for.
Yeah.
2 of them.
So, but there was $100 off thing, and then I got $100 coupon from the Google store for buying I almost said the Nexus, the Pixel phone. So it was a really good price. So I got 2 of those. The other thing I got, and I'm gonna pull the trigger on a couple of things here. Well, they're all pretty small things compared to a TV, but my Roku is a 3-year-old, whatever the Ultra version, whatever it was called, Ultra something. It's like the 4K HDR version. It might have been the very first 4K HDR Roku. Those devices at the time were $129. The new version's normally $99. Starting today, it's available for $50. I've been having performance problems with it. I've had to reset it a bunch of times lately. I'm just going to buy a new one for $50. So it's like 3 years newer, better processor. Hopefully that will solve that problem. But I actually also pulled the trigger this weekend just to kind of try it. Amazon has a bunch of Kindle, Fire TV, whatever, Echo. Hello, jeez. He's back. Stuff on sale. I'm not going to go in the Echo direction quite yet, although, you got to understand that's in the back of my mind given how things are going there. But there was a Fire TV stick, 4K. It was half price, and I want to say half price was $20, maybe $30. I don't remember. It was cheap. And then an Ethernet adapter for like $15. So 40. Yeah, that's what it was. It was $40 for the 2. Yeah. Actually, if you wanted to spend $47, you could have gotten a 2-year protection plan. And I figured I'd just add it to my TV and I'll just try it because I'm looking for the better, the TV experience thing. And so the last time I tried the Amazon stuff, it was a little heavily skewed to Amazon. It was like, look, here's all the Amazon stuff. And then you have other apps down there. And it's like, I usually use, Netflix or whatever. I'm not really super interested in the Amazon stuff. But anyway, I thought I'd give it a shot. So that's where I'm at Black Friday wise. I think that's going to be probably most, if not all of it.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about, well, first off, it still kills me this is the nicest TV in my house and it displays 3 graphics and occasionally.
Well, that's why we bought one. So remember, we got those TVs for work. And I had it in my office and I was just testing it. And I said, Stephanie, come here. And I showed it to, I'm like, we have to buy one of these things. We have to buy one. So now that TV you have is our TV, right? So we have the one, which is dumb now because now the TV we bought for work is sitting in my cellar unused. And the TV we bought, or I guess it's hard to tell which one's which, but one of them is in the living room. We actually use it. So for some reason we have 2 of those.
So I'm trying to decide how I'm either going to do a whole bunch of crazy stuff on Black Friday or I'm going to do nothing.
Well, depending on the price, right?
Right. Well, the thing is so I want to get at least one Sonos Beam, like the sound bar, for downstairs, but they're like $60.
They're still really expensive.
But they're like $60 off, and Sonos stuff doesn't really go on sale. So it's like maybe I should buy.
You know what? So you should look at the refurbished store. And I mean, sometimes I feel like I've heard from at least one Sonos employee. I feel like I've gotten a good discount in the past.
Well, if there's anybody out there who has Sonos coupons, please let me know. Because
you're right. They don't typically go. They're on big sales on Sonos coupons.
Like I'm tempted, honestly, to buy 3 of them. That's the problem.
Sonos Beams, really?
Yeah. Why? Well, because one for downstairs, and then I've wanted to put one upstairs, and then maybe one in our bedroom. You don't know what this is going to sound.
You got to get one and see what it's like. This may not be what you want.
Yeah.
Because we did a little soundbar thing for a while, and I'm actually one thing I would consider in my living room, which is part of the reason I'm experimenting with the Fire TV, is just getting 2 of those. What do you call them? The Echo Studio speakers, which are fairly expensive and hard to find. And then maybe a like I don't know what they call it, but like probably called an Echo Sub.
Yeah.
And doing like a Dolby Atmos thing. Maybe.
Yeah, I gotta admit that's a very rational point. But either way, I need a TV for downstairs. And I want it to be big. I mean, it's the biggest room we have in our house now. Once this thing is done, so I'm thinking like it's gonna be like 65 inches, maybe.
Yeah.
And then
how big is that thing we have? Is it 60? Or?
I mean, this is a 55, so it's
55. Okay.
This is again the biggest TV in my house. The one upstairs is a 52-inch 1080p. Bezel's the size of China.
Yeah, it's overdue.
Yeah, so I'd like to get at least a TV for upstairs, one for downstairs, maybe a Sonos Beam, or 3.
Well, but the time is upon us.
Yeah,
so you must have gotten the Sonos email about whatever sale they had. That's where you got that from.
Yeah. So there's a chance that I end up buying some stuff, and there's a chance that I don't, which I guess are really the only 2 options anyway. So that's a great sentence.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So it's either do or don't. I'd be curious if anybody else is planning to buy stuff. The thing is like, The reason why I'm not just all over the TV stuff is those things are always so cheap now. And like even like the 65 inch was like for a,
you could walk into Costco and get a fantastic TV for next to nothing now. You know,
yeah,
anytime.
Like we're talking. I bet I could get both TVs for under $1,000. And I know they're not going to.
Oh, for sure.
They're not going to be OLED and they're not going to be whatever, but they're definitely 4K HDR, which is really all that I need. Yep. OLED is nice. Don't get me wrong.
That TV that's behind you, except bigger.
Mm-hmm. Oops.
You know,
that one.
That's basically it. You know.
Yeah. The one thing is this TV does have really nice thin bezels, which I really do like.
Yeah. And by the way, that thing's 2 years old. 2 years
yeah.
old?
Which if I could find this exact TV for like a couple $100, I'd buy it in a second.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Anyway,
like I said, I have an extra one in the cellar. You know, a couple $100, probably do it. Because the shipping would be a couple $100.
Yeah, I think the shipping is what would get me.
Right.
So, anyways, we'll see if anybody comes across any good TV deals. I think upstairs could probably do a 55 inch because of the bezels are so big on that 52. Like they're no joke. The TV is 10 and a half years old. So think about what a flat screen TV was 10 and a half years ago.
Plasma. I mean, I bet the bezels were on the bottom were like this. They were black and it was like humongous. It looked like a picture frame, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what it looks like. So anyways, I'd like to get that one replaced. I'd like to get this basement finished. Like,
sure.
And I don't know.
I'm still thinking about running a patch cable.
Yeah, well, I've got a bunch of stuff showing up, and the thing is like I can sit upstairs and work or hide from my family in the basement, so I choose to hide from my family.
I did watch some YouTube videos. I'm feeling better about my competency to actually complete this task.
Okay, good.
Like I think I can do it.
We'll send thoughts and prayers.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's like you're basically stringing what is probably going to be like $10 worth of cable, but I'm going to have to buy like $250 worth of equipment.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because you need the thing to cut the wall and to crimp the thing, and you know, like there's a bunch of little tools you need. And of course, the way these things go is like I'll do this, and then I'm going to be like, well, I mean, I have the tools. I should probably string some of this up into the second floor of the house.
Well, let me explain. This whole basement project started because we replaced the roof. Like
nice. Yeah, because I think it just gets it's like a, what do you call it? Like is an aperitif the right word? You know, it's before a meal. You have like a little something, and it gets your taste buds going, and you're like, hey, I have an idea.
Yeah, well, no, it started because our roof was damaged by hail, and we're like, okay, well, let's get it replaced, and let's have them fix the chimney while they're up there. So they did that, and then and then we're like, well, if we're gonna do that, why don't we do the furnace? And we're like, okay, so we'll do the furnace because we knew it was dead anyways. It was 20 years old or whatever. And then we're like, well, if we're going to do the furnace, we need to get the basement waterproof before we do that because we don't want to put a $10,000 furnace down there and then have them come with jackhammers. And then my wife's like, well, if the basement's waterproofed and the furnace is done, why don't we just finish it? And there's...
By the way, a couple things I like about that sentence is she used the word we, right? Which kind of implies she's going to be down there hauling lumber with you or something. And then she also used the word just. Like, it's just the next. We've already taken 9 steps. Why don't we just take the 10th?
Yep.
You know.
Well, my daughter's expectations for what this finished basement is going to be is wildly out of proportion. She's wondering. She keeps asking where the zip line's going to be. I'm like, sweetie, we have 7.5-foot ceilings. And
well, she's short. I mean, for a little while, that would actually work for her.
Yeah, actually, probably could. I mean, it's
sure.
Anyway, so yeah, if nobody sees me or hears from me for the next 5 days, it's because I'm just hacking away in the basement. It's
you do have some time off coming, so
I'm hoping by the end of Sunday evening. I have big ambitions about where I'd like to be.
Yeah,
but we'll see where I end up.
I'm going to be on my back, relaxing, but
just thinking about work.
Just thinking about that patch cable.
Yeah,
Cat 6 or Cat 7, I don't know.
In an ideal world, by the end of Sunday evening, and I don't think this is reasonable, but we'll see. I'd love to have this basement entirely framed, and framed, because if it's framed, that means the insulation is all up. Because then once it's framed, then the next step is then I got to put the dry cord down on the floor, and then the drywall, and so, yep.
Yeah. I'm actually, like I said, I feel pretty good about being able to do what I want to do here, which is very small compared to what you're talking about.
Where do you even have to run it? Like, what's the...
Well, it just goes in the basement, so it's beautiful. So the issue is going to be I got to cut a box in the wall out in the living room, which I now, like I said, I feel like I have the competency for that. The issue is actually just a matter of placement because you can't really. This room is a kind of a square. It's really a rectangle, but let's say it's a square. And the desk right now is angled at a 45-degree angle, so there's like a corner of the room behind me. But I have to figure out the final position of this thing because the problem is I'm not that close to a wall, really. I mean, well, not that I measure from the computer, but like there's a single power cord that goes over to the wall, so it runs like 3 or 4 feet across the floor. I'm not going to put something in the floor, obviously, that would be terrible. But I have to figure out a wall to put this thing on, and then that becomes where the desk is just going to be because I don't want to run Ethernet outside of
Yep.
That's
you don't want to move it. I get it. Like that's
so I got to figure that out. But that's not what's stalling this. What's stalling this is just inertia.
So here's one option you could consider, and this is what I'm doing at my house. So I'm actually running. Without knowing what your basement ceiling looks like, it's a little hard. But what I am doing is, so in every room we have cold air returns, right? Just for the vent. Oh, you may not.
Yeah. Okay. No, I do. I have something like that.
Yeah. Well, you got to make sure it's a cold air return. I guess it could be.
It is.
Because you don't have central heating, right?
No, but I have central air. So I do have air. I'd have to look right over here. You can. I'm pointing into it like you're going to see it, but there is it's an interesting possibility actually.
Yeah,
I like the idea of putting a box in the wall. I feel like I could actually handle that.
For other listeners at home, what I am doing in my house is I have run Ethernet right up, because the ceiling's exposed, right up to where the cold air return goes upstairs. And so you can just peel down that little bit of tin and run the line up, and then it comes out through the cold air return.
My sunroom has a cold air return in the floor. It'd be actually kind of interesting to just pull the wire through it and do it that way. But I don't have that.
And I mean, it depends again where your desk is going to be. Mine conveniently is right next to the cold air returns, and these are just temporary. So
no, I mean, I'll just do it wherever I do it. You can't. Well, I don't think even if I look like. No, there's nothing over there. You can't really see it, but maybe on this side. Like, see how there's a so it's like a power receptacle. Like I'll just put it, 6 inches away from one of those somewhere.
Now the question is, do you have that? Is that wainscoting right there or whatever?
This is one of the problems with the room. Yes. So there's wood. That's okay.
Oops. Yeah. So that'll.
Let's put it up here.
That'll make things a little more complex.
Yeah, you'll see it behind you, the cable coming down.
The one benefit though to it being wood is that you don't have to worry about the drywall like crumbling on the sides.
Right. Right. It will be a clear cut. And, Well, these are the other thing is that actually the walls you see behind me are exterior walls. And that's probably going to be a problem. I haven't gone down and looked up at, in the basement, but the basement that's below here is unfinished. So that really helps. And then
that does help.
I'm actually, you can't see it, but the wall over there has power and it's an interior wall. And I'm thinking that's going to be where it's going to go. So we'll see.
Well, we will find out on this very busy week of technology.
I'll just state definitively, Ethernet is not happening this coming weekend. But I mean, I'm going to start buying the parts. I'm going to start. No. I'm getting there.
Planning.
I'm talking myself into it.
Planning takes longer than.
Yeah.
I mean, once.
Yeah, just figuring out where this thing's going to go is a. But I have result. Like I've watched some videos. I've read some stuff, and I'm like, okay, I can do.
We can do this. It's basically what I said, and now I'm framing walls, and we'll see if they work. They're not going anywhere.
I feel pretty good about I'm going to cut drywall, and actually I'm going to cut drywall. I won't have to paint, so they'll be fine. Like I can do that. Like I'm even getting to the point where we have a couple little drywall-y bits around the house that where we still for some reason have like a coax thing sitting there, and I'm thinking like I could probably patch this. Like I might be able to do this.
No, that's how it starts though. Like you start with my first. I mean, this isn't completely true, but one of my first patching projects was actually just putting in a Nest thermostat. I had to take the old one out of the wall, which was carved in, and then you mount that, and then you had to do drywall.
And because you mounted it, it's like maybe yours is probably round, and the thing that was there was square, so it's not painted correctly or whatever. And you're like, well, yeah, you want to make it look right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know Nest actually sells, or in the kit, I think it's like a white plastic panel. I was like, I'm not putting that up.
Yeah, because it looks like crap. It looks like exactly what it is. Something designed to hide the unpainted part of the wall that's behind there.
Well, it wasn't even just that. Like it was an actual hole in the wall for reasons I didn't understand. The thermostat was like like an in-wall mounted unit, not like a surface mount. So whatever.
Also, it has some huge hole.
Yeah,
that's like when you replace the car stereo. You have to have like
it's exactly like that.
Like a mount around it to kind of fill the space that's in the car.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So there we go. You got anything else for today, Paul?
No, there's a lot of nothing that has nothing to do with today too. But no, I guess not.
All right. Well,
I think some more research.
Yeah, maybe something will happen this week, or maybe not.
Yeah.
We'll find out. All right, folks, that wraps up for today. You can find those Smart Deploy links down below at smartdeploy.com/Thurrott. We'll catch all of you right back here tomorrow on whatever, Home Improvement Daily.